All right, guys, welcome to another episode of PackTalk. I have a very special guest. I've been anticipating this conversation for a really, really long time. This lady is a boss. This lady is an entrepreneur. This lady is a legend. She's an author. She's a mother. She's done so many things in our city and a great friend of mine as well. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to Jen the Boss.
Wow. What about education? Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I have to give you your flowers because I don't know if a lot of people know, but you are like the angel mentor of so many people.
Oh, man.
You are in the background mentoring people and you don't talk about it. You're very humble. You don't talk about it, but you've helped me on some really dark days and some really high days. And I'm very appreciative of the platform.
Man.
And I'm proud of you and I'm excited for what you're doing.
Man, I'm excited to have you on, and it feels good to say this because a lot of times, you know, you give people
Of course.
game and you're helping people. Me personally, if it's a gift, it's a gift. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about it the other day when I was not even the other day when I was driving here.
Yeah.
Thought about it. I said, yo, if I do something for somebody and they don't return the favor, even if I don't get the type of opportunity that they got because I was able to help them to a certain magnitude, at least I know God will bless me in a way that I can consistently still be a vessel.
Of course.
So
a blessing to be a blessing, right?
100%. 100%. So I really want to dive into your story.
Yes.
Because your story, I remember the first time we connected and I first heard your story, I said, yo, that's a story.
Yeah.
That's a story. Where you came from, where you started, and where you are right now. I really just want to dive into it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That might be half the whole show.
I
just
know,
talking
my
about
God,
the story itself.
right? I gotta really sum it up, but yeah, a little girl from Jane and Finch.
Woo!
That's where it starts.
From the ends.
From the ends, right? Shout out Jane and Finch. But yeah, a little girl from Jane and Finch. Grew up in a single parent home. And, you know, went through the motions of living in the environment and ended up dropping out of high school.
Really?
A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
Drop out at the beginning of grade 12. I was caught up in the life, skipping school, thinking I was older than I was. You know how it goes. And I had my daughter at a young age. Again, a lot of people don't know that. And I think in that moment is when a light bulb went off and said, okay, you're special, number one, Jen, but not only are you special, but you have something in you, so you need to find someone that's going to help you.
Right.
Recognize that, right? And that's when I met my first social worker, mentor, right? So we call them now. And she would not let me live. Like, she was like, I know you're out of school, but we need to do this, we need to do that. And at that point, I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I'm making money, I don't need to be in school, I'm living my life, I have my daughter. And she's like, you know what, if you're serious, we're gonna go out to lunch, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll go out and I'll honor the lunch. We go out to lunch and, well, I'm thinking we're going out to lunch. She pulls up at Ryerson. I'm like, why are we at Ryerson? First of all, I'm a high school dropout, so I'm not even thinking about college or university.
For sure.
Right? And we pull up and she's like, I just wanna see a friend. I'm like, all right, we go in. Is it not like a program lead? Right?
Really?
And I'm like, why am I sitting here? Super awkward, teenager, just, you know?
Yeah.
Rebellious. Like, why am I even here? And he's just like, I heard a lot about you. And if you're serious, you start on Monday. I'm like, start what on Monday? And he's like, you start class on Monday. And I looked at her and I was furious at the time because that's not what the plan was.
Right.
We were just supposed to get some food, eat, chop it up. And she was just like, you know, I believe in you and you're going to figure it out. And I want to say this was maybe like a Thursday. And I came home and I went to my mom and I'm like, all right, you know, Judith, who was my mentor at the time, she brought me in. They said I could start school. And I'm a high school dropout. Like, how is this? And this is where a village comes in. My mom got on the phone and started making calls. Who's going to babysit my daughter?
Right.
Who's going to watch her? How are we going to make this happen?
Wow.
And fast forward, Monday I started.
Wow.
Right? Got into a program. Of course, it was a hybrid program, specialized program. And I got my feet wet back in school. Later went into college, did the, you know, community justice stuff. And I realized I had a passion for working in the community.
Yeah.
And then I got my first job in the field as a social worker. And I was like, yo, there are so many clients that I am encountering that I went to school with.
Right.
And I'm like, how are you my client?
On the other side.
On the other side.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you my client? We were in class together.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, like, okay, I got to lock in.
Wow.
I got to lock in. So for a good amount of years, I did the social work thing in the justice space.
Yeah.
Worked in the jails, worked in probation, Worked with women in the life, worked with pimps, did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? And pandemic hit. And I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? Because they're talking about letting people go from work.
Really?
And I have a child. And I'm like, yeah, this can't work. So I just start going online. I'm like, how to make money online?
Really?
How am I going to make money online? And this direct sales popped up. Never heard of it in my life, mind you.
Really?
And I'm like, what is this? And miraculously, this is how you know God works, for real. I'm online and I see a woman and she's like, I'm selling this product. If you really want in on this product, and it was CBD tea at the time.
Right.
My daughter has sickle cell disease. So I've been hearing about CBD in the background, helping with pain and stuff. So I'm like, let me see what this product's really about, right? So she has like hundreds of thousands of followers. So I'm like, I'm going to message her. She's not going to respond. Lo and behold, she responds.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, listen, we don't ship CBD to Canada but try. So I go in and I'm signing up to get this product. I end up signing up to be in direct sales, network marketing.
Wow.
I did not know. A lot of people don't know that story. So I go in. I'm a full-blown member.
You tried to come in as a customer?
I knew I was a customer, but I didn't know I was a customer of a MLM.
Oh, really?
I just was looking at this product. I heard about direct sales in the background. Right. But when I'm online, I'm seeing CBD tea. She's promoting it. And I got to plug her, boss lady. And that was crazy. And she was like, yeah, this is what you got to do.
Oh, so you came in through Boss Lady.
I came in through Boss Lady.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did.
Oh.
And the rest was literally history. I came in, got the CBD, used it on my daughter. It worked amazingly well.
Really?
At this time, she was in the hospital almost every month. Right. So it did numbers for her, really great numbers. And I was like, okay, well, I have this product and it works. Let me see if I promote what's going to happen. Right. Because at this point now, I know I'm an MLM. I don't understand it, but I also understand that there is a commission to be made.
Right.
I also understand that I'm in the social work space and there is a possibility that I may lose my job. So I got to get it by any means. Right. Like the hood in me came out. I'm like, let me get to my hustle, like for real. And I posted it and women just started messaging me. And I woke up to a team and a rank and I'm like, what is going on? And I was like, okay, I understand that success loves speed.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to question this. I'm just going to go for it and I'm going to figure it out along the way. And fast forward, I became the highest rank in the entire company, in the country. Yep. And I had a team of thousands of people around the world. I ended up building this great community of women. And I didn't know how I did it. I just knew that I was following whatever God was saying. This is what you got to do.
You're just moving.
Yeah, and I was in that situation for about 4 years. Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And anybody who really knows me, who watches the pod, knows I am a huge advocate of the industry of multi-level marketing. Yeah. And I know it has, just like any business, it has its ups, it has its downs.
Of course.
I've written about it in my book because personally, I feel like it is, unless you're going door-to-door sales, it might be the next best thing to teach you how to get into entrepreneurship.
I agree.
Not business ownership. There's a big difference. That's a conversation for a whole nother day.
Agreed.
But to get into entrepreneurship, to really understand how to run a business, operate a business, sell, the objections, how to deal with kind of like the soft skills of entrepreneurship and some of the hard skills of entrepreneurship as well.
I agree.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's how you got in. Hey?
Yeah, that's how I got in. I literally got in by accident and then turned it up.
So in that moment, because obviously most people don't necessarily have that story of it happens that fast, especially if they don't have a background in sales.
Facts.
Like, did you have a background in sales at all
Never.
Prior to that?
Social work background only.
That's it?
That is it.
You never saw none?
Nothing. No retail experience.
Not a bag, not a hair, not a none?
Nothing.
Damn.
Nothing. I worked, the only retail job, I guess you could say, I worked at a bingo hall, but at
Really?
most, yeah.
So what was that like first experience when you sold something and it just somebody said, yeah, I'll take it. And it's like,
it gave me
approved.
a rush. Yeah, it gave me a rush. It gave me a rush.
For sure.
And I didn't want to stop. Because once you get, it's like that first, that first official flip and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. And it was easy because people, if the product is good, people are going to buy.
Facts.
And it wasn't like I was being salesy. I was just saying, listen, this works for my child. And I was storytelling.
And
and stories sell. at the end of the day.
That's one thing I could say you do extremely well.
Thank you.
Maybe that's because you have that social worker background.
Yeah.
So you're listening to stories, you're
Right.
engaging with stories, so you know how to tell a good story. You know how to
Thank
frame
you.
a good story.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've always had I've always looked at you as a mentor of mentors.
Oh, thank you.
Because I've seen the way, like, let's be real. It's not easy to work with a group of women.
No, it's not.
I've heard some people do it,
Yeah.
but it just seems like it's difficult.
It's
at
challenging.
times.
It is definitely challenging.
How are you able to do that? It seemed like you really mobilized a group of
Yeah.
women that were just because there was no like crazy stories coming out of like your organization when it came to the women. It seemed like the
Yeah.
women were just kind of like
Yeah, we were
on board with the mission.
Yeah, we were a pack, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But
See what she did there.
what I would say is because I went through a lot of the similar experiences as the women that I aligned with,
Yeah.
it was easy for me to connect with them.
Yeah.
You know, I come from a background for sure.
Right.
Right. So I went through a lot of the things that I heard them go through. So when I was sitting and listening to their stories, I could empathize differently.
Right.
Right. Not only that was at that time, and even still, women are looking for community.
Right.
And I just knew at the back of my mind that I needed a community. Okay. So if I could build a community that we could rely on each other, that we can grow from each other, that we can build with each other, we're winning.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like I built a sisterhood.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, you know, all organizations has its ups and downs, and there are some things, but I think we looked at each other as a family. So we try to keep as many things in-house as opposed to letting things out in the public.
100%.
Because we also know, looking like us, people are targeting us,
100%.
right? And I will say proudly that in Toronto, I haven't seen a group of women in MLM at the time of colored women, you know,
Yeah.
of that size in Toronto.
I never seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm just saying.
I never
Correct me
seen
if I'm
it.
wrong.
And honestly, as somebody who had a team of 6,500 people, we had a
Okay.
lot of women in
Yeah.
our team. Me and one of my mentors, at one time, we tried to create a movement called GOAL,
Nice.
Girls on a Level.
Sick.
We just thought it was so great. We're just
Yeah.
like, oh, we're going to get all these women
Yeah.
together. But then I started to realize a lot of these women were here for different reasons, bro.
Don't tell me.
I said, yo, they're here for a husband. They are not here to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Like, and when I seen what you guys were able to curate, I was sitting here like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Was it because it was predominantly mostly women, or, you know, the product just resonated with women? Like,
Yeah.
what was it? Because it seems like
I
in
know.
other opportunities,
For
it's
sure.
tough to get women
For
to
sure.
fully align
For
because
sure. There
a
could be
lot of them are.
distractions,
Yeah.
For sure. I would say because probably it was predominantly women. We did have some males on the team, but predominantly women.
Yeah.
We just knew already that we're all we got.
Yeah.
And it's either we're going to lock in for real and get to the next level, and whatever that looks like for you,
Yeah.
or we get distracted. Right? And I think at that time, a lot of women were really relying on this to work.
Right.
And I'm not saying the money to work, but for the community to work.
Right.
Right? Because they needed it for real. So we fought. We fought to make that work.
That's
Trust
fair.
and believe. Yeah.
I love that. Do
Yeah.
you think it's possible for like a group of women to do that in another organization that isn't woman dominant? Like,
I do, but I do think it's important to, you know, set the intention,
Right.
set the boundaries in place,
Right.
and make sure that everyone has a collective agreement of
Yeah.
what this really is.
yeah.
Right? Because it's easy to lose focus and someone veer off and then a group of people follow. When
Right.
the intention is not clear. Like, what are we
Right.
really here for? And why does this matter so much? A lot of the women I worked with were mothers, single mothers at that. Many of them were just straight out of school and they were just trying to get their feet wet in the, you know, the entrepreneurial space.
Right.
They knew that this had to work.
Right.
You know, so I think that it's very, very possible, just setting the intention, setting the boundaries, and making sure everyone is in agreement of why we're here.
Right.
And having clear communication across the board. Women, we like to communicate, as you know. So if, for example, a male is leading a team, you got to communicate with your girls. You got to
Yeah.
communicate with these women because a lot of them are going through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you have to find that fine line where it's like, I'm your mentor, I'm your coach. I'm not really your brother like that. You know what I mean? You got
Yeah.
to find that fine line because it's hard. It is.
Not for me. I was a robot in network
Yeah.
marketing.
You gotta
I do what I need to do.
Yeah.
and I'm
But there's a
gone.
lot of men that, you know, because again, It's a lot of women.
Nah, I love my money too much, bro. I ain't
Yeah,
playing.
but that's
I
a
ain't
good
playing
thing.
with none of my bags.
That's amazing because again, I've seen both sides of it. I've definitely seen both sides.
Oh, I've
of
seen it all.
I've seen both sides.
I've told guys all the time because
Yeah.
there's been a rule since the beginning of time in multi-level marketing, bro. If you know, you know. You don't touch the downline, bro.
Period. Because that's where things get messy.
Do it.
No, you can't.
You just don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you do, you better marry that girl, bro.
Facts. And even then.
even then, it can still get, you see what I'm saying?
It gets tricky for sure. And I believe that business needs to remain business in any space you're in, whether
100%.
it's MLM or anything else, because things get tricky and it starts messing with the money and it starts messing with the vision.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the difference between traditional business and MLM per se is, one, MLM is a volunteer army, right? So it changes the scope of what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
When your boss is paying you and you having that could last for a really, really long time. Versus a volunteer army, you could get exposed real quick and then it gets real messy very, very fast. So it's not, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that would be my advice.
100%.
Keep it professional. Keep it about what it is about.
So I know there's the things that we love and we hate about the industry.
Yes.
Let's get into it, dog. So you just explained a lot of the things that you love about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the experience, the speed, all of that, the
For sure.
sisterhood, the camaraderie, all that great stuff. But then there's another side to things that you don't like.
Of course.
What are those things?
And I experienced a couple.
Oh, leave. Let's get into it.
Definitely. So I would say one of the things that I really did not really like was the fact that you always got to be on call. If you don't set up a system at the very beginning, you will be a slave to your phone.
Oh, 100%.
And I ran into that issue early on in the game where I was answering my phone at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Mind you, I have children. Mind you, I have a life outside of the industry.
For sure.
So I felt like I was a slave to my phone because at the end of the day, I was like, they got to get paid. I got to get paid. We got to make this work. So if I don't answer this call, that might mess up the bag for them, for me, for whosoever in the organization. And I think for anybody coming on into the space, you have to set that boundary at the forefront because you become a slave to your phone. You become a slave to social media. You almost get that anxiety, like I got to post. I got to answer this call. And it completely tore my identity apart. Jeez. I almost forget who Jen was. Damn. It was just Jen the boss. And I couldn't turn it off when I turned my phone off because I couldn't turn off my phone. That was
now it's crazy because I'll call you, Jen the boss.
And I was on my phone ready. It was, right? Another thing is, and this comes with the territory, is you're going to help a lot of people. And a lot of people may just, slap the wrist that gave them an opportunity. Yeah, for sure. You got to not take things to heart. Yeah. And when I came in, again, coming in with a social work background, my heart was on my sleeves. I was trying to help everybody. Yeah. I was not militant. Yeah. I was like, I'm your sis. Let's do this. You're my friend. And people that I really, really, really poured into. Like when I say poured into, I'm doing stuff that have nothing to do with MLM with some of these people. Right. And on a flick of a switch, it was like, I hate this girl. Da-da-da. Right? And I was like, wow. And I was in tears. I was depressed about it. And I was just like, at what point do you remember that this is still a business, Jen? Right. And remember, I don't come from a business background. So I didn't know how to turn that boundary up. Right. Right? Right. I just came in like, we're sister, let's work. Like, Right. That screwed me up big time. So after I learned that lesson, I learned how to kind of navigate that world and still have those boundaries and privacy in place for myself because it can get tricky when you're dealing with people in general, Right. Those are probably the two main things that I would say that I'm not really too fond of. Last thing, and I got to say it, probably controversial, just letting you know. Oh, shit. Leaders that come in to the space and they are here just for the bag. Yeah. And when I say just for the bag, they have one intention, and it's to make money. So that means they're just, enrolling. They could care less what's going on in the organization. They just want to hold that title. Yeah. They just want to walk away with that big check, and they could care less what's going on in the downline. And that sucks because what happens is if I'm aligned to a leader, right, and I'm following this leader, for example, right, and that is what their culture is, by default, it falls on me. Right. And now I got to explain to my girls. And you'll move around companies.
Yeah.
You not only will you move around companies, you'll yeah, it gets tricky. That's what I would say.
I always say, and I truly believe that when somebody signs up in your program, whatever it is, they're actually not signing up to a business. They're signing up to you.
That's big facts.
Like, I realize as a true leader in the space that you have a fiduciary responsibility even when you're not in that business anymore. Because, like, I still felt like this is where we had that conversation. Like, I was still mentoring.
Yeah.
Bro, I was mentoring people's downlines that had never worked with me.
I think you mentored mine. I think you did a call with my team, actually.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they never worked with me, but I still felt that need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was the responsibility that I felt I had with, you know what I mean? Like, I got your leader started. I made sure when I sat down with your leader, I said, no, we're going to get there.
Facts.
Whatever that there is, there wasn't a position, that there was actually making it to a place where you could see financial freedom, building a community where you can empower your friends and your family. That ultimately was the goal, right? So yeah, that's when it gets a little.
It does. It definitely does. And again, you are who you are aligned to, ideally, right? So you got to be so careful of who you're aligning to. Do your research of who you're partnering with, who you're collabing with, because people will identify you.
For sure.
Right?
Do you believe in law of the lid?
Explain.
The law of the lid. You ever heard about that?
I haven't heard of the law of the lid.
Okay, so the law of the lid is a concept of whoever your leader is, because I truly believe that if your leader is operating at, let's just say, a 7, whatever a 7 is, you're going to operate probably at a 5.
Okay.
But you most likely won't outdo that leader. So you're going to operate under their lid. So whatever their fears, whatever their identity crisis is, whatever they're going through internally is what you're going to go through psychologically. So you're always going to suffer law of the lid. You're not going to pass that leadership.
I could see that. I've experienced it.
Yeah.
I've seen it for sure. And that's why I said it's so important who you align with.
Right.
Right? Because whatever they're going through by default, energy is transferable at the end of the day.
100%.
And if you're close with whoever you're working with, your business partner, your leader, that stuff will definitely seep off onto you.
100%.
Right? And if you are not a person who is a leader by nature, by default, you're going to follow.
Right.
It happens, right? And sometimes people get in a space where they don't want to, pass their leader.
Right. Yeah.
And they keep themselves super small.
Yo.
But for me, as a mentor, I'm like, I would love for you to pass me.
100%.
Because at the end of the day, this is fruit.
100%.
Right? And that shows my leadership.
100%.
And that shows what we've built. But if you are always stuck under me, what does that say about me?
I remember when I first got into the space. Like, mind you, like, I got into the space very young.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time I was like 20 years old, I was full time in this space from like 20, 21. And when I was 21, I had the structure to like literally surpass my leaders, bro. And some way, somehow, I self-sabotaged myself. Oh, and I remember how I did it. Because I used to tell myself that the leader that I was helping, who was about to hit that next rank that would have ranked me up, I used to tell myself that he wasn't ready, that he needed to do it all by himself.
Making the excuses for them.
You know what I mean? I wasn't even making excuses for him. I was literally making it harder for him.
Yeah.
Because I was helping him the whole time. And then it was like, nah, you got to figure it out, because I knew what it took me to get to that next level.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, it shouldn't have taken him the same thing that it took me to get to that next level.
Yeah.
Especially with the type of potential he had.
For sure.
I felt like I dropped the ball on that. But then I realized later on, like, I knew it subconsciously. What it was just I did not want to pass my leaders, especially in that brutal, like, yo, you hit that position, then you hit the next position.
It's awkward.
And you could potentially hit the third position.
Yeah.
Now I was going from a place where I'm under their lid to now I have to run the whole thing. And that scared me. I'm 21 years old. I'm leading big people then. Like, I have parents,
crazy.
Like, I have a big team. I'm in front of people all the time. But I didn't have an issue with being in front of people. I had an issue with organizing it all.
Gotcha.
But it's funny because now that I'm in my 30s, I'm looking at that like that's a joke thing.
Of course.
I would have done it. And this is why I say, like, yes, you could have the results, but sometimes maturity is something that just takes experience, bro.
100% takes experience, takes the trial and error, takes the, the good and the bad times. But once you get it, it becomes a breeze. I do believe that.
I always wonder, because obviously, like, you built this business on a really, really high level and done really well with it.
Thanks.
Like, how do you do that when you're juggling being a family woman and, you know what I mean, having your significant other and having your child and, you know what I mean? Like, how do you balance all of that?
At first, it was extremely difficult because, again, I didn't know how big it would have gotten. Like, it blew up overnight in a sense, and I couldn't even handle it, how it was blowing up.
How many people are on your team?
In total, the entire organization, we had a couple thousands for sure around the world. Yeah. And a huge team here in Canada.
Yeah.
But at first I didn't know because it was just so big. Like you said, the organization part, I didn't know how to really categorize and organize it.
Right.
So it was just people signing up, people buying stuff, and I'm just seeing the money. Like it was, But over time, once I learned that it is important to manage my time in a way that allowed me to set some clear boundaries with my team,
right?
And that's why I said I had to set some boundaries.
Yes,
I had to let them know when it's family time, it's family time.
For sure.
After a certain time, my phone is not on. Like for that, like if it's an emergency, of course I'm gonna be there as your mentor. And I believe that the group of women just understood.
Right.
They realized like, yo, Jen really is in the field. Let's give her some time. And then I said to myself, you know what? It's important to build the leaders on your team because if you could build the leaders will build the people.
100%.
So I built an organization where I had amazing women that I knew that they could take care of things had I not been there.
Yeah, no, like even when we threw a few events at our space, even meeting a lot of the people on your team, I'm like, bro, this is a good group of women. Like they are sharp, bro.
Yeah. At one point, we became real militant. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
We had a program working.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp.
So that's what I would say. But as a mom, do you really manage your time ever? It's anything can happen at any given time.
That's a fact.
Right? So just having a team that understands and again, building your leaders, building the people you're working with.
Yeah.
And making sure they're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want people that need you for everything. That means you are not doing your job as a mentor.
That's a fact.
I do not want a group of people, whether it's an MLM or anything that I'm doing, that rely on me so much.
Yeah.
Because that means that I failed you.
Right.
Right? I'm not allowing you to see your gifts that you believe that you could do this on your own.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I feel like, just to add on to your wisdom on that, I just kind of feel like a lot of organizations don't do a good job of curating a system for their leaders. So
agreed.
You felt like you had to do the most. And the first thing that I think as somebody with experience in the space is, where are the people that were like, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where were the people that brought you in here? Like, what are they up to?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm very curious.
No, real talk. And the thing is, a lot of leaders make a whole lot of money, and we're talking M's, right? That's a normal conversation for us.
For sure.
But to the world, people are making millions. Some of them are making $50,000 a week, $100K a week. They get so big that for them, their organization is too big for them to manage.
Right.
So they kind of just let things sizzle until something pops off, right? And I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. And it sucks because, like you said, where are the people that signed us all up?
100%.
Like, where you guys at?
Right.
You're on a jet.
Right.
You're in Dubai,
and there's no problem with being on a
for sure, but making sure your business is taken care of as well.
Right.
Because again, I've reached levels, but I've always made sure, regardless what I'm doing, my team is good.
Yeah.
And before I make that move to go enjoy life or whatever the case is, everybody's straight.
Yeah.
We're all good. We're on the same page, and everyone is self-sufficient for the most part. You know, and I think that gives me peace of mind, and it also gives the organization peace.
Right.
Because if not, that's where chaos happens. Because now, a confused mind, you already know, chaos is on the train right next, right?
Confused people do.
For sure.
Yeah, the ruin shit or they do nothing.
Right, 100%. And I don't think it's intentional. But, there's that saying is, there's leaders, there's followers, there's people that don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, 100%.
And the people that don't know what the hell's going on, they're just going to scatter until they figure out what's going on.
100%.
Right?
What's your views as a leader on building in one marketplace?
My views on it in one marketplace?
Yeah.
I
people who say, I just want to build in Toronto.
Yeah, no. I think that it's definitely limiting.
Yeah.
I think the world is so much bigger than Ontario. It's so much bigger than Canada.
Right.
Right? And there is so many gifted, amazing people that are not in North America.
100%.
Can we say that again?
100%.
When you get a chance to travel, please do.
Yeah.
Right. I know I had a couple teams in Africa, a couple teams in the Caribbean, a couple teams in Europe, and their work ethic is way different than ours.
For sure.
And when I seen that, I was like, yeah, I'm going global.
Yeah.
I'm going global. Not even just because of their work ethic, but what they came with, their experiences, their stories, the things that these people have gone through, and the reason why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It hits different.
Yeah.
It hits different, right? So I definitely say it's easier to just build in one marketplace.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. But when you ask yourself as a leader, when you walk away, what does your legacy really say about you?
For sure.
Like, are you really trying to impact people around the world for real? Or are you just here for a good time? And it's going to be challenging building around the world because you're dealing with different time zones. You're dealing with language barriers. You're dealing with a lot of things. But, to whom much is given, much is tested.
Oh, that's a fact.
And it's not for the weak for sure. But if it's in you, it's in you.
Another question on that same note. How many people do you need in a market to be like, yeah, I'm jumping on a plane? That's a good
question.
Hey, like how hey.
That's a good question because some people say I need 100 people or else I'm not flying. I kid you not. I went on my first trip outside of Toronto to build in Alberta. I want to say it was Alberta or Montreal.
Yeah.
But either or. Maybe Montreal was first. Montreal, I had one girl.
Yeah.
I had one lady out there.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm getting on. We didn't take a plane. We drove out there. So I considered traveling. We got on a bus and we went out there.
Facts.
And it's one woman. And the way that woman was so happy to see, and I didn't go by myself. I came with the team.
Oh, you came with the squad.
I came with the squad.
That's one thing I used to love. Y'all used to really roll. Like,
if we're going, we're going.
We're supporting each other. I love that. I love that.
And we pulled up, and in her mind, at that point, she had no rank.
Yeah.
Wasn't really making much money. So in her mind, it's like, no one's ever coming out for me. Like,
facts.
And I said, no, we're coming.
Yeah.
And not only are we coming, but we're going to help you build out here.
Oh, facts.
Right? And then fast forward, went to Alberta, and it was maybe a team of 10 at the time, if that.
Yeah.
And some of those women weren't even signed to me. I just knew they were in the company in the same province. Let's go. Let's work. Get your content, put it out, and build your own team. Facts. I don't make no money off of this.
Facts.
Right? So to me, it depends on the leader.
Yeah.
I was willing to go with one person.
Facts.
Some people will not go unless they have 100.
Bro, I say this all the time. Like, let me find that one.
That's it. That's all you need.
People don't even understand in chapter 8 or 7 in my book when I talk about it. I said, bro, I really taproot, bro.
Yeah.
I really I'll go into a market, one person, I promise you I'm leaving there 100.
Period. You gotta get
as long as it takes, bro. We'll be there. Who do you know?
Thank you. Let me do the talking.
Bro,
you just
I got
you. Pretty. 100%.
What?
And that empowers that person because now when you leave their marketplace, they feel empowered now to just go crazy.
Because they saw you turn, bro, it's like, I promise you, like taprooting is like what Jesus turning water into wine.
Absolutely.
A lot of people get stuck in thinking that their network is very singular.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my network is just this person.
Right.
And then once you start getting through networks and they start meeting people that are extended to them, they get shocked. Like, oh, wow, this person was only like 3 relationships away. And this super sharp person is now in my organization because somebody taught me how to find that.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah, you gotta find a diamond in the rough for sure.
Oh, that's a
and
fact.
It's a huge part of humility as well. I think, and that's what I think makes you a great leader as well, and not just MLM, just in life, right? Is you're not focused on the masses in a sense. You're focused on the selected few. As long as, and I've seen that personally with you, is you'll have a small core group of people, even with Alpha Pack,
right?
And you guys definitely made history in the city,
right?
Whether people want to admit it or not, you guys had definitely left a mark.
Yeah.
And with the clothing line, boot camps, all these different things, and all you need is that small core group.
Right.
And once you guys are all aligned with the same mentality, it's so much easier to build that way. Right.
Right. I totally agree with that. You don't need everybody, but everybody has to be like-minded.
That's it.
They have to be like-minded. They got to know the vision because I think my first thrill was obviously, when you make a sale, that's one thrill. Then you start making money, that's one thrill. I was even telling one of my homies on the phone today, I get thrilled when I change people's lives. Yeah. Like my subtle flex is, go check my young boys.
Period.
They're doing things.
Period.
Let me call homie. let me tell you the people that are working with me that are
Yes,
winning.
That's it.
That's my flex now.
100%.
And I just want that flex to be way more. Like,
Of course.
I want
That's
it to
your
get
legacy.
to what? I
That's
want
your
it to get to a
legacy.
point where people are like, yo, you're working with that guy?
That's it.
All right, you're
That's
good.
it. And that's why I say your fruit is so important, right?
Right.
There's a lot of tree that's bearing no fruit, but then there are trees that are bearing fruit.
Not little figs.
Yeah, I'm just saying, right? It's a thing. So I always look at a leader by their fruit.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So what's so what's I got a few questions. I got a few questions. What is an ideal leader for you? When you look at a leader or somebody that you're gonna follow, like what are the criteria and the things that they need for you to be like, okay, like this is somebody that I would want to follow.
Definitely.
Because now you're seasoned in the game.
Right.
It's not like you're just gonna do anything or you
For
see what I'm
sure.
saying? Like
For sure.
what does that look like now?
For me right now, I think it's important that I would align with a leader with integrity first and foremost.
Right.
Right. I would definitely look at their track record in a sense of, how honest are you?
Right.
Right. I think that's so important.
That's a big one.
Because money can change people real quick.
It's true.
Just looking at that person's integrity. Of course, I'd want someone who is experienced in the space. And overall, someone who believes in my core values, community, someone who believes in helping people,
Right.
someone who believes in a vision bigger than themselves, essentially, right? Because it's easy to say, my vision is to help, 20 people or 100 people or whatever the case is. But after you do that, then what? Then what? Right? What really is the vision here? Because once you set a goal, essentially, if you lock in, you could accomplish it. Then
100%.
what? Then what, right?
100%.
Do you just, go off into space and you're living your lavish life on some yacht?
Not a yacht and a jet.
You know what I'm saying? So I seem triggered, huh? So
That's what I was about to say. I'm like,
I know, I'm like, you sound triggered as okay, but those would be like the top characteristics for me as a leader right now. And essentially someone that I know I could grow with.
Right.
Like we got to be able to grow. And when I say grow, I'm not just talking money.
Right.
I'm talking legacy. I'm talking generational. I'm talking like once this is said and done, will we have buildings in our name? Type
Right.
thing. Like,
right. Right.
That would be now that I'm seasoned and understand things differently for sure.
So you're not currently in the space right now?
The question everybody wants to know. No, I'm not in the space. I'm actually retired in this space.
Holy.
For now, until a miracle happens. But no, and you and I had a personal conversation about this at some point. And I said, I've done some great things in the space, and I'm so grateful for the space. Like I will never bash the space because of the things I've learned. Let me tell you. However, there's so much more to Jen.
Right.
And I haven't given the world Jen yet.
100%.
And I'm excited for that new version of Jen. Because she has a lot to offer.
And that's what I really want to get into. So what is the next step for you?
Yeah.
What do you work? What are you cooking up?
What am I cooking up? I've been quiet.
Everybody's been trying to figure out what is Jen doing? What's the plan? You have a lot of influence in the city. You know what I mean? Like, what is next for you?
Yeah, well, first on PackTalk, because everybody doesn't know what the hell's going on with me because I've been very MIA since I had my daughter. But I'm really, really, really going to be tapping into the mindset space.
Right.
I think one of the things with the organizations that I've built was based on mindset, right? We really worked on our mindset for things to work. So definitely tapping into the mindset bag. Going to be doing a lot of mindset coaching for women and helping them turn their mindset into money, essentially. Because for me, I believe that once you work on your mindset, you can become a millionaire, billionaire, whatever you want to become.
Right.
Because your mindset, to me, is what is going to be the difference between here and tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of successful people might say consistency is the key.
Right.
Some might say, grit is the key. I say mindset is the key.
Right.
Because it takes your mindset to be at a certain level for you to want to be consistent.
100%.
Your mindset has to be at a certain level for you to want to put in that work.
I agree.
Right? So I'm going to be definitely tapping in and helping women really just shaping their mindset and understanding that your mind is so powerful. And you would be surprised how many things you can create just by thought.
So if a woman wanted to get involved with you as or hire you as a coach, like what's that process? Yeah, so I am going to be having a couple courses and programs that will be coming for sure, and some digital products. So those that are not ready for a one-on-one coach per se, there'll be some ebooks, there'll be some programs that they can work with, and on top of that, I'm going to create a free community Dope.
and just pour into the people. I
Dope.
think right now we need that.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. I think in this stage of social media, we are comparing ourselves like crazy.
What's up? What is up with that?
What is up with that for real at our big age, right?
Yeah, like it's like
I will say that, we've become a generation, interestingly enough, that thrives off of imposter syndrome. And I don't know where that came from, but I will say you're in a space, especially let's look at Instagram, for example. People are posting what they want you to see.
100%.
And if you are going on there and you're spending the majority of your time scrolling, you're just seeing all the great things. And now you're questioning, how come my life doesn't look like that? Not realizing that's only a second of a person's 24 hours. Right? So now you start comparing and saying, well, I have a kid. I should be going on trips with my kid. Not understanding that who knows how that person got on that trip. How many years did they have to save to take their child on that first trip? Whatever that looks like, right? So your mindset now becomes a space where you're comparing yourself.
You know what I do find strange is because like I go on Instagram and I'm like super pessimistic.
Yeah.
But like I don't understand where everybody gets this optimism from on Instagram. Because in my mind, I look at everything and the first thing I think, Cap, she probably don't look like that. But like I'm just pessimistic about everything on Instagram. Because in my mind, I'm just like, that's just what the culture of this thing is. It's like this thing is supposed to show your best everything. It's just not real. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you a funny story, maybe a little bit controversial, depending who's listening. But I gotta say it because it's a learning moment. But I was one of those people that was optimistic every time I would scroll, 100% at the beginning. And I had a very public relationship, right? And I was posting all the great things.
Yeah.
The date nights, the this, the that, and everyone's like, couple goals, like, I want to be just like them. And people didn't know I was going through the darkest time in my relationship. Wrote about it in my book. But the darkest time in my relationship. And I was like, people are saying goals and they would never, when I tell you, they would never want to walk a day in the shoes that I'm walking in right now in my relationship at the time.
Damn.
So I knew I was a part, and I guess I could take some blame for sure for being a part of that culture of putting something out because it looked good. But behind closed doors, it was a nightmare. And that's just the truth. Right? I could only be truthful. And I said to myself, after that, I was like, after I experienced that and I seen how many people were feeding into it and saying goals, 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 I'm like, yeah, this is probably not even real. Because I was one of those people. 100%. I was her. I was her for a couple years.
Yeah.
Because of course you want people to be inspired by your story. You want them to be inspired by what you're posting. So you're going to post the great things. And you don't know what someone is fighting behind closed doors. I was that person. So I totally understand it from a whole different lens.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Because like, I'm not going to lie. Every time I get on Instagram, I don't believe shit on there.
Yeah.
Nothing. None of that.
And I implore more people to carry that mindset, to be honest.
Doesn't change. Because I look at it like, bro, you know the phrase, what you eat don't make me shit?
Facts.
Like,
that's facts.
if you're doing well, great for you, bro.
100%. I'll celebrate you, but that's your story.
That's your story.
That's your journey.
It has nothing to do with me. Me getting envious about you. I don't know what you went through.
Thank you.
Bro, you probably went through way more than I'm even willing to deal with, bro. I'm cool on it. When I see people doing well, I'm truly happy. Because inspiration is knowing that, yo, it can happen for you, bro.
Of course.
Especially if you see it. Imagine, and this is why I tell people, imagine being the person that couldn't even see something and seeing it come to life. And then you having to be the person that inspires people. Now that you can get inspiration, you should be happy, bro.
Absolutely.
I remember when I was 18 years old, I'm talking about, yo, I'm going to make all of this money in network marketing. When I made my first 6 figures, I was the only person, bro, that I had ever seen.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
I was showing my homies what a comma and 5 figures on a check look like.
Wow.
They had never seen that.
Yeah.
Mans are like, yo.
For sure, especially at that age.
Bro, we're 20. We're 21.
Kids, essentially,
We're young, bro. I went to Harry Rose. I felt like I was rich, bro.
Especially in them times there.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, 2012?
Yeah.
Yo, if you see 15 bands in 2012.
You're like thinking you're a millionaire for sure.
Bro.
For sure.
I'm moving different.
Yeah, of
bro.
course. Your walk is different. Your talk is
What?
different.
The walk had an extra limp.
I'm crying.
The loafers just
Yeah.
sat a little bit different on the foot. Fam.
Period.
My ankles look different. I promise
Yeah.
you, they even look different.
That is
Everything
hilarious.
changed.
Yeah.
But just to be able to have inspiration is a blessing. And I think
100%.
sometimes people get caught up on, just jealousy is stupid.
Yeah. And again, it's that comparing thing. Is that beast called comparison?
Yeah.
Right. They say comparison is the thief of all joy, and it's true. You really got to understand and know that you are gifted.
Yeah.
In your own way. You probably don't know what the gift is yet, and if that's the case, I encourage you to do some self work.
Right.
We've all been there where we probably forgot our gifts.
100%.
I think you and I had a conversation where we're like, yo, we should be playing way bigger.
For sure.
Because we both went quiet at a time.
Yeah.
And I believe that you probably did some self-work. I had to do some self-work and really tap in and talk to myself and like, no, Jen, you got to lock in.
Facts.
Like I had to have a real conversation with myself and say, no. There's no need to compare.
And
You're Jen.
And this is where like these conversations are important.
Yeah.
Because us as leaders, I had a conversation. I'm not even gonna say his name, but somebody who's really dope in the city that does real things.
Right.
He's an entrepreneur. He has like a restaurant,
Nice.
whatever. And I told him, I said, yo, listen, guys like us don't have the luxury of stepping back because too many people are watching you.
Yo.
You don't like. It sounds so bad, but this is where we as leaders need to lean on each other
Trust
and say,
me.
yo, I might need you to hear me out right now.
Yeah.
I'm going through a little situation. Yo, what do you think about so-and-so?
Yeah.
We need to stick
We
with
need a community for ourselves. And I don't
Exactly.
know if you remember, there was a point in time where I got on the phone and I bawled in your ear.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. We were on the phone for like 2 hours.
2 hours and I bawled in your ear, like
Yeah.
ugly cry. But
Yeah.
I needed that in that moment because not everybody would understand
100%.
what I was feeling in that moment.
And I'm very unbiased with a lot. You know
Of
what I mean?
course.
Like I just look
Yeah.
at it for what it is.
Yeah, and I needed that, but it was not only because you're my friend, but you were a leader, so you understand.
Yeah.
At that point, I didn't want to show up. At that point, I was going through a lot of things.
Right.
Right? And it's like, who do you really have this conversation with that'll actually get it
Yeah.
and not judge you and be able to hold your hand through that? Because we all go through it.
Right.
Especially as leaders. There's a lot of people depending on us in our personal life, in our professional life. It's a lot to carry.
Yeah.
It's a lot to carry, especially when you're dealing with your own life.
100%.
Right? So again, I want to say this right now on record because I have to give you your flowers. The group of men that you've created where you guys come and you congregate.
Yeah.
Shout out to Make Men Pray Again and Make
Yeah.
Black Men Great Again, right? Shout out to the movement.
Yeah.
But you have taken such a bold step to bring men together to say, let's congregate, whether it's once a week, a couple times a month, and let's lean on each other. Because the world is against Black men.
Yeah.
I believe that truly. There's a lot on you guys' shoulders,
Yeah.
and I don't believe you guys get enough support. And a lot of men are against counseling and therapy, you know, for whatever reason that is. So the fact that you're able to create that, you are helping so many people who are not fathers yet, right? You're helping so many sons.
Yeah.
You are helping so many men in this space that are going to help us as women and help children. And I applaud you for that because that's not easy.
It's tough.
Because you're dealing with egos.
Yeah.
You're dealing with men at the end of the day, right? And the fact that you're able to do that, I don't even know if a lot of people know that you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a thing, and I think it's needed, and I think more men need to tap into that because men are the leaders, and we need you guys.
Yes.
We need you guys, and who's really supporting you guys, for real?
I appreciate that because
Yeah.
for me, the vision really is obviously if we can improve as men where we fall short, we could just be better for our community. Like where are
world.
we if, you know what I mean, if the men are falling short?
You
know?
guys would create a better world, right?
sure.
Because at the end of the day, listen, I'm all for independent women. I get it. But I also am tapped in enough into myself to understand that I need men.
Right.
From my fathers to my brothers to my men, my intimate partner, like I need men.
Yeah.
And men need women, right? So it's crucial and it's needed and it should be definitely something spoken
And I
about
love
more.
that because I think a lot of times we as men, we don't hear that.
Yeah.
Because we always hear we're like, oh, we don't need you. And it's like,
No. Not
I don't care how much ego, how much money, how much whatever. I will never go and say I don't need my woman or I don't need women. Like that's just.
It takes a lot of maturity, I would say, to get to that point.
Even if I was in a place where I was like, yeah, I didn't. I still wouldn't say that. Like, I just feel like
Yeah.
that's just kind of an immature thing to
And
say.
you know, again, like you said, ego and pride, and we've become a society where we're against each other some way. I don't even know how that started,
Yeah.
but we need each other. And
Yeah.
if we can come together and align, oh my goodness, the
Yeah.
things we could create.
I think overall, like, I don't know where it started, but there's just some expectation just formed on what somebody else should be. And I
Yeah.
think that takes away the gift of really getting to know somebody when
I
you start
agree.
to expect that they should be a certain way, or
Right.
you want them to be a certain way for
Right.
you, instead of just understanding who they are.
Understanding and working with it and growing through it.
Right.
Working through it, right?
Right. Because we're dealing with another human being.
That's it.
That's just what it boils down to.
That's it.
Ah, man.
A little deep moment for them.
Yeah. I had to give him that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Jen, I thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, of course.
I'm
It's a pleasure.
I'm so excited to see what you have in store next.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you lead a lot of the women in Toronto right now. I'm excited to
you.
see your next movement, you being a coach and taking that
Yeah.
thing to the next level. And
Definitely.
man, I'm excited for all of us and us
For
working together,
sure.
pushing it.
Of course.
And man, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm
I
gonna,
appreciate
I'm gonna tell
that.
you here, like, I know your story.
Yeah.
Man, I know a lot of moments and things that you've gone through, even in
Definitely.
times where I remember there was one time you're like, yo, I'm in a dark place.
I was
And
in
we
a
had
dark place.
and we had talked about it, and I had told you about when I was in a dark place. You were like, yo, how'd you deal with it? And we had a real conversation on how we deal with these things.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean?
Of course.
So no, I appreciate you for coming
Thank
in,
you.
and I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah, and I'm equally excited for you, what you're doing, the podcast, the movement,
Yeah.
and just bringing people together. It's needed, it's organic, it's authentic, and it's real.
For sure.
And nobody could do it like you, Junior. So
Hey, bro, we
Just saying.
We working.
I appreciate you, brother.
There's a few other things we working on too. So,
yeah, we're not gonna get into that. You can.
that's a conversation for another day. But hey, maybe the next conversation we have
Right?
over here will be very, very different, bro.
A lot
But
of powerful things are about to happen. Let's put it that way.
yeah. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Back Talk.